Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the iRacing Formula 3.5 Championship here at Suzuka International Racing Course. I'm Austin Knight. I am joined by Avery McDonald, and in the broadcasting booth providing all these wonderful camera angles and graphics is Frederick Nixel. Avery, how you doing?
Oh, fantastic. Ready for another amazing iRacing Formula 3.5 series race. I've watched a lot of the races earlier today, and they've been fantastic so far.
Yeah, the season has been going absolutely beautiful, and now for a change of pace, let's head over to Suzuka as everyone is still currently in qualifying right now, but our graphics are looking great. And for fans of this graphics set, I want to let you know if you're a customer of SDK Gaming, you can get the broadcast overlay that we're using right now for yourself for your own personal use. Just go to sdkgaming.co.uk overlay themes. There is a link in the chat and I believe in the description of the video over this highly requested uh skin, I guess, for your broadcast, skin for your overlay, because it's based off the real life Formula 3.5, and I'm gonna be honest, I love this. It Every broadcast is just something new's been added, and I think we peaked. This is amazing.
Yeah, I tell you what, it looks just really clean. I've seen a lot of broadcasts in real life and personally from working in the freelance world. That looks fantastic. Everything is clean, legible. If you want something great, just go check it out. Links in the comment box and sign up.
Yeah, you get a 14-day free trial as well when you first visit and use it. And I'm going to be honest, I've been using this ever since I've been on iRacing, even before I was with Apex.
Yeah, same here. I used it, before. It's great for spotting, when you're spotting for friends and just having a good time. It's a great software. Everything works slick. It's really impressive.
As we currently return back to the action, Ronaldo Augusto hasn't set a valid lap yet, but I think that's about to change as he comes across the line in 8th place with a 1:42.165 Suzuka. Very hard track to pass at, but so DRS going to be heavily used, and expect some very big fights into some key braking zones, mainly turns 1. Watch some scrabbling through the S's, and then Spoon is going to give us a lot of action, and especially a race up to 130R and then the triangle chicane.
Yeah, spoon curve is a very difficult turn. It's definitely one of the turns that you really need to get a good entrance in so you can get a good exit for that long straightaway.
And here is your grid. Tyndall takes pole position ahead of Jose Longa, Phil Reed, Greg Olson, Daniel R. Calvo, Manuel Domingo, Cedric Bill, Renard Augusto, Paul Ilbrake, Edward Samborski, Steve Honan, James J. Pinkster in 12th place. Behind them is Omar Baja, Rob Board, Thomas Knoll, Eric Lindstrom, Iker Estefania, Rob Crouch, Rafael Mata, and Theodore Burns in 20th at the back of the grid here in the land of the rising sun at Suzuka.
I tell you what a strong grid we have here today at the Suzuka circuit. It's just going to be a real good race. I'm excited for this light to go off.
Yeah, everyone's just getting their cars all set up, putting on those race sets from their qualifying sets, and just getting ready to go as a very spread out grid here. Just look where everyone's from. We got Americans, we got people from Europe, we got people from Australia, South America. I believe sometimes we have some African drivers as well, and Asian drivers, but just all over the map. One of the most spread out series and one of the largest SOF field races we always have. As the lights are coming on, ladies and gentlemen, the heartbeats are rising, and so are the rest, because we're going green flag racing here at Suzuka for the iRacing Formula 3.5 Championship. Great start already for everyone up in front. Little bit of swapping of places down in the midfield, but everyone at the start near the front of the group has kept it clean, nose to tail with each other as they're heading into the S's.
Yeah, good clean start here for these drivers here, the Formula 3.5 series. It's a long race, so you want to be patient, but you need to get a good start to be able to maintain your track position.
Okay. That going off the track and spinning around. That's Phil Reed around a Dunlop curve. So Reserfield gets by him very nicely through Dangna. Phil Reed dropped down 17 spots. Omar Baja also had a little bit of incident going into the first curve. Rob Bohr looking down the inside of James A. Pinkster into the hairpin as, that is Rob Crouch getting loose on exit. Most of these guys getting overtakes from incidents and not on-track overtakes. I would say Erica Lindstrom has made some of the best overtakes. Let's watch this start from Omar Baja, though. He's holding his outside line. Just got pushed off track immediately. Nowhere to go, and then spun around as he took a little bit trip into the gravel. But he's already back on the charge as he flies through 130R.
Yeah, just ran out of real estate there in turn 1 on the start of the race, but was able to get back going.
Steve Honan, he didn't have the best starts. Dropped down 2 spots as up ahead, Cedric Bill under pressure from Augusto. Augusto looking down the inside, but Bill had that outside line, which is superior here in Suzuka around that double right-hand turn, since he could carry more speed heading into the S's.
Yeah, you really need a good exit out of the turn 1 and 2 to get through the S's. It's a very crucial point in this track that you need to get through there to get a good time.
Yeah, Sebastian Vettel was asking Michael Schumacher for some advice on how to hit the S's, and Schumacher just tilted his head and just goes, you just hit them. Like, there's no real strategy on hitting the S's, and that is my favorite Schumacher moment. He's just like, yeah, you just hit them.
Yeah, there's no way to do it. You just got to do it, and can't make excuses. That's the way he was trying to explain that there. But we got a great race so far here, only on lap number 2.
Definitely the leaders have, like most of the series, have flown away from the rest of the field. Delilah's got Longo and Olsen on his tail, but there is a gap forming. Fourth and back, Augusto going a little bit wide and Spoon. And for any endurance fans that are here, the iRacing 12 Hours of Suzuka is happening right now for the iRacing Endurance Championship. I was racing in that this morning, and it's comfortable seeing Spoon take it flat out as we got in about 3 wide right now, heading into the triangle chicane as Augusto and Bill are swapping around spots.
Yeah, these drivers are really just trying to get into a groove right now. Getting early in this race, it's very important to get into a good groove. And then as you can start clicking off good laps.
Pinks here looking down the inside, heading into turn 1. Decides to slot back in and get ready for the S's, as dirty air is going to be a massive factor like it was at Zandvoort and Donington as well.
Yeah, you really need that clean air here. You know, getting through a lot of these tight turns, if you get in that dirty air, it's going to, make it a little more difficult for you with this tough of a track. One of the toughest tracks I've ever raced on.
Especially test track made for Honda, converted into a racetrack, and a lot of high speed, medium speed corners here. Some few slow speed corners. Those slow speed corners being this one right here, the hairpin, and I would consider Spoon a low speed corner, but it's not really.
Yeah, it's just one of those turns. It's just a little bit different. You see, it's Paul going to the right side. They're going to try to make the overtake.
It's going to try to swing around the outside, but perfectly defended by Bill, who's slotting ahead right in front of him. It's very easy to go off track right there. Just a few inches onto the curb and boom, off track, especially coming out of the triangle chicane. If you touch that curb, it's basically an off track.
Yeah, you don't want to get too many off tracks here, so you get that pass-through penalty.
Almost side by side through 130R. Ilbrick tried to go for the switch trap, but Bill slammed it right there. But Ilbrick now, he's got the inside heading to the triangle chicane, and he's going to get it very nicely. And now Samborski is going to try to force the move, and he does get it as well. And here comes Pinkster on Bill. And Pinkster and Bohr are going to go in as well. 3 wide down the straight.
And these drivers are giving so much room with being that 3 wide, man. This is just fantastic.
some of the best and cleanest racing here on iRacing in the top split races. The Formula 3.5 community is probably the most positive community here on iRacing. They all help each other get it, especially if you're a regular. They help on setups. They work with each other on track and everything. And there hasn't been a car-to-car contact, honestly, that I can think of, because everyone's still in the race.
Yeah, it's been clean so far. The only really incident we had was the off track in turn 1 on the start, but it's been a real clean race so far. These drivers are very talented. They have great car control, but as the time starts clicking off, you might see a little bit more of aggressive driving style, but we're still very early in this race.
Now, lap 4 out of 21 here at Suzuka. Looking over as Lindstrom going on to the inside of Spoon on Rob Bohr, and he makes it work. What a move by Erica Lindstrom. Such a gutsy move, but now he's got to defend on the straight from Rob Bohr. DRS is in these cars. You can tell if DRS is activated if you cannot see the little slit in the wing. And here goes Bohr down the inside, side by side through 130R, and Bohr swings it on into there. Back up into 11th, and now Lindstrom's got out. Honan going to try to fight him into the braking zone, but Lindstrom's got the inside, but now on the switchback, it's going to be Lindstrom ahead of Bohr. A little bit of brake checking as Thomas Knoll was caught up in there. A little bit of a bump and run. And now Thomas Knoll under fire from Estefania. Estefania looking down to the inside, heading into turn 1. Whoa, they're already touching the grass. It's going to be a crazy braking zone. Knoll giving him all the room that he needs as he makes that work. The Iberian driver jumps up into 14th.
Yeah, we're starting to see some really good moves here so far in this Formula 3.5 race. The one thing I've noticed so far is everyone's, besides that little incident there, is just racing each other clean, giving each other room, but still racing hard, and that's just what you don't see very often in a lot of races. But this top split Formula 3.5 races, we're seeing it here today.
Yeah, especially with the strength of field we have here today. Lowest I rating, 3.8K. With the top I rating being Tim Delisle at 7.8 thousand I rating. It's just a insanely high strength of field. I believe we're at a 5K strength of field today.
Yeah, this strength of field is just outrageous. You don't always get this talented group in any series, let alone, a lot of times this Formula 3.5 series only has one split, but today we have a very good strength of field, and you're going to want to get these champ points out of this race, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely championship leader Tim Delisle already 1.1 second in the lead. Now, sometimes he can get a little bit complacent in the lead, and a few drivers can sneak up on him as Pinksier and Samborski going side by side. Pinksier, they're holding around the outside for the triangle chicane. Don't try to get him onto the exit, but Samborski has got the exit just locked down right there and holds on to 8th. Edward A. Samborski making some great passes today, as well as James David Pinksier. Watch these two as well, as Rob Crouch trying to recover from his earlier spin. Coming out of the hairpin, he's going side by side with Nolan. You want to try to swing it around the outside of the first curve. Cannot make it work, though. But Nolan's got a bit wide, and Reed and Burns contacted it. They're in the wall. Phil Reed and Theodore Burns. Burns onto the inside. He clipped the curb, and he's just lost it, and unfortunately collected Phil Reed, and Reed is in the wall. And he's got some wing damage from that as well. It was a massive hit. And Reed's out of the race.
Yeah, that's going to end his day for this Formula 3.5 race. Just an unfortunate instance that took both drivers out, but we keep moving on.
And the race goes on and on and on again with some strangers and the people. It's going into the book as one of the worst segues in my life. But Bill chasing down on James Pinksier as Samborski's pulling away from him.
Yeah, Samborski's really clicking off some good laps. Very important to pull away from that little pack behind him and start working his way up to 7th.
Cedric Bill looking up to the inside. Too far back to make a dive. Pinksier a little bit too deep into that corner. It's been struggling on the brakes just a little bit. Pinksier defending it down to the inside, trying to break up that draft. He's clear of it now from an inside move, but Cedric Bill is on a charge right now. Just look how close he's got. Also, look at this. Lindstrom and Crouch coming up with each other. Lindstrom and Honan. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Lindstrom, he's giving some room, but he's right on him. He's pushing right now. You can tell just how close he's getting to him and trying to find every way around.
Yeah, Steve Honan been kind of a line of a day, not really going up or down. He's dropped one spot, but he's kept it clean so far. And Lindstrom has been up 3 spots right now in the charge for the biggest mover of the race, which goes to actually Rob Crouch.
Yeah, Crouch up 4 spots. Had a great start to this race. Able to click off some really good laps. A lot of drivers are moving up. There's just a couple drivers that have dropped, and they have dropped drastically.
We're right on board with Lindstrom through Spoon. You can just hear on how critical it is to get Spoon right. You want to get on the throttle so early, but it's so deceiving as defending onto the inside goes Honan, and Lindstrom going to swing around the outside. Easy money right there as Erica Lindstrom up 4 spots into 12th.
As you saw on that onboard, how important it is to get out of Spoon onto that straightaway, because if you would have had a bad turn there, that pass wouldn't happen. It's so critical to get a good exit out of Spoon.
Going up to Edward Samborski. Priesters dropped into a second on him. And now we're going to witness the battle for 8th between these two. And James is starting to close in on Samborski. Just a tad bit, though. These guys are evenly balanced for a great fight here.
Yeah, their best laps and their last laps are just neck and neck. They're very even with each other. So really, it's who can make the least amount of mistakes.
Yeah, Samborski's got the downforce, but he gets a lot of oversteer right there. That's allowing James to start closing up. Gain 2/10 already into the hairpin, and they're now front nose to gearbox. And they're going to start doing a little bit of tango.
Yeah, it's going to be a dance, and it's going to be a slow jam.
A slow jam in some minds, 100-mile-per-hour dance as, Samborski goes a bit wide, trying to extend the track as much as he can to get a good run. James is not going to like that as James opens up DRS and just slots in behind Samborski, trying to negate the effects of him using DRS as well.
Yeah, definitely using that DRS to your advantage. It's pretty cool how iRacing was able to work that in the car to make it as realistic as possible.
Not the most realistic if you're spectating, since we have to look for a little small slit that gets covered.
True.
But hopefully in a future update, they actually drop down and you can tell a lot easier, and I don't have to be squinting at a TV through some binoculars to see if a driver's using DRS.
Going through the S-curves, just trying to work their magic to get as much speed as they go into a Dunlop curve. And, really, Pinkster he's trying everything he can, but Samborski's just putting on some really good laps.
Samborski, very consistent driver who you see him a lot in the top 5. He was looking for a top 4 and to add to his streak, and looking for that podium, but it's been very elusive on him. Another battle, Lindstrom and Bohr in the battle for 11th.
Yeah, Lindstrom's put on some really good laps, but so is Bohr. And Lindstrom is really working away from Honan, and he just doing a great job, and I'm really impressed so far. I haven't been able to watch a lot of these races lately, but really he's very impressive.
Yeah, Bohr's also in the draft of Cedric Bill ahead of him as the battle for 10th. It might become a 3-way as new fastest lap set for Tim Delisle, FA 1:42.30. 1.31, 3/10 faster than Longa behind him. And Samborski under pressure from Pinkster. Pinkster looking down to the inside. They're side by side heading into turn 1. Pinkster clear into the braking zone as he jumps into 8th place. Back into the battle for 10th right now between Bill, Bohr, and Lindstrom. Erica getting into the grass just a little bit, but Rob Bohr is locked on target. And his target is Cedric Bill.
Yeah, what a battle we have here. All these drivers are just really, really racing hard and clean. And, to have 3 drivers and 4 just, right behind them. But to have, like I said, 3 drivers that close to each other already on lap 10, like, this is turning out to be a pretty good race so far.
It's a beautiful thing to watch cars racing close and having some great whole lap-long battles to watch. What a way to spend your Saturday evening, honestly.
Yeah,
That's right on board with Erica Lindstrom.
Yeah, I really don't know what else I'd want to do on a Saturday evening besides watch some great sim racing. These drivers are just going after. It's really impressive.
Lindstrom just studying these two as Bohr and Bill activate DRS to start to fly away. Lindstrom, I'm not sure if he's actually activated DRS. Yeah, he didn't put on DRS because these two are just rocketing away from each other as Bill, under pressure from Bohr, into the chicane. This is where tensions can rise between 2 drivers as we reach the halfway mark. Bohr looking around the outside, but Bill holding out to the inside. He's going to defend that inside line as hard as he can, but Bohr's got the speed to swing it around him, and he's already got a car length on him, and he chops the nose off just for good measure as Bohr gets into the top 10, but a little bit loose, and Bill's going to swing it back on him.
Yeah, he looked like he was just defending that turn, and once coming out of the first curve, he just got a little loose, and they kind of just gave up all that momentum he had going into the first turn.
The curb's evil, man. I tell you, the curbs do not like it when you run on them. It's Thomas Knoll on the back of Crouch. Let's go up to the battle for 6th place right now, as Paul Ilbrink and Augusto have caught up with each other. And Ilbrink already looking around the outside of 150R.
Yeah, Paul put on some really good laps, the last 2 laps to work his way up to 6th to Augusto, and really been clicking on some good laps. It's going to be a great battle.
I believe Augusto may have had a little bit of a sketchy lap, but I can't see anywhere he went wrong. Paul Ilbrink's just been on a slow charge as he's pretty much riding him right now going into 130R, and Ilbrink looking down around the outside as they're going to be the last of the late breakers right here, side by side into the chicane. Ilbrink's got the inside, but around the outside goes Augusto, and he's going to stay there, but Ilbrink, he's going to have the draft as Augusto defending onto the inside. Ilbrink looking around to the outside. Side by side they go, heading down into turn 1. Who's going to be the last late breakers? They're almost wheel banging right now as they're headed side by side, swinging around the outside. Paul Ilbrink jumps up into 6th place.
Yeah, no, the drivers aren't going to give. They're going to give a couple inches just to make sure they didn't make contact. But what a pass there on the outside. We have another battle for 11th.
As we're looking at Bohr, Lindstrom, and Lindstrom gets tagged, and he goes flying off track into the S's, and that's a sketchy for 20. He collects Honan! Unable to stop or slow down the car. Honan, right place, very wrong time, as 2 of the drivers have been having such a positive race get collected by this incident. Lindstrom and Bohr side by side heading into the S's, then Bohr and Lindstrom just collect, and Lindstrom seems to have collected his car, but just no control in the grass, and unfortunately collects Honan in that incident. Big hit for both these drivers. Not sure if their car is going to be okay, but their races are definitely affected from this. You can just see the internal workings of Lindstrom's car. He's crabbed it, already testing out suspension, but his aero is just gone right now.
Oh, you hate to see it. It's always unfortunate when you're that driver just coming around the track and make contact with the damaged cars. You can't slow down in the grass. It's no one's fault for the at the end, the second incident, excuse me, but just an unfortunate day for both those drivers. But like we said earlier, the race goes on.
Yeah, race goes on and on and on. No safety cars here in the iRacing Formula 3.5 Championship, unlike a different series for just any sort of caution. Soft dig. NASCAR.
Yeah, they have a lot.
Well, it's one of the things I really like about this series. Like, the action is always happening, even if there's been a few incidents. As let's bring up these lovely graphics here on the iRacing Formula 3.5 Championship. A reminder to all of you who are fans of the iRacing 3.5 series, you can go get this livery for yourself for your broadcast. If you are a SDK customer, just go to sdk-gaming.co.uk/overlay-themes/ to get this pre-made overlay for your overlay, either that be in race or your own broadcast spotting for your friends, teams, or just your own little leagues. That's over at sdk-gaming.co.uk/overlay-themes. There's also a link in the description if me talking just didn't make sense right there.
Yeah, definitely check that link out. Sign up, get that 14-day trial if you like it. Keep the subscription going. But Tim, he's fast. I mean, he is fast. There's no other way to explain it.
Honestly, there's not a lot to explain. Sometimes this becomes the Tim Delisle show here on Apex Racing TV, and we see some amazing performances throughout the last 3 seasons we've been covering this series.
Yeah, for someone who's not real familiar with the Formula 3.5 series as myself, but I know his name. For the couple races I've watched, either one of the Apex's broadcast, one of our broadcasts, or just going and spectating. If you watch one of these races, you know who that guy is.
He is definitely the man in this series, as traffic is kind of dying down here on track, but there are some battles forming throughout the midfield. I spot James Pinkster and Renato Augusto now closing in on each other.
Yeah, Augusto had that little mishap earlier, a couple laps ago. His best lap time is a little bit slower than Pinkster. It's about 3 to 4 tenths of a second, but that average time is they're running really similar. Just try not to make a mistake, because you make a mistake, you're going to give up that spot.
Augusto going a little bit wide through Spoon, trying to get any advantage that he can from the charging Soviet Lowell bus as he went by in the old F1 league that I used to commentate with James in it. So he's a well-known prankster as well. James likes to have a good laugh sometimes.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having a good laugh. New quick time for Paul in the number 2 car. Put another quick time in, but he's starting to pull away from Augusto and trying to catch up to Domingo. But this has been one of those races where it starts off, kind of slow, gets really aggressive, and then now it's back to a little slow period. But just a couple mistakes away from some more aggressive racing.
Indeed, we are. Aggressive racing is what we usually see here at the start of this race. Drivers probably killing off their tires, and this new tire model, they do wear out. They do have a noticeable drop off as well. As we were watching in the Circuit of the Americas round, it's just the tires got so cooked and they just fell off. And Samborski's around underneath the Bridgestone Bridge. And there's another contact ahead of him. Rob Bohr and Samborski get into it. Thomas Knoll just barely avoid as Samborski is sent bouncing along the track.
Oh.
Let's ride on board with Bohr through both the Degnas. Believe he just saw Samborski lose it. And he was on the curb trying to hit the throttle, and lost it as well. And then Samborski got net coated off into oblivion. And that is unfortunate for both these drivers.
Yeah, that's definitely a very unfortunate incident. I mean, but like I said earlier, it all starts with that one mistake. If you eliminate that mistake, that doesn't happen. But still, great racing so far. Had a couple incidents, but we're only at lap 16 and 21. That's starting to get down to the wire.
Yeah, time flies. We're having an awesome blast here in the land of the rising sun and watching some great racing. Thomas Knoll under pressure from Estefania, who is coming down on him as we're just getting some numbers corrected from the drivers that teleported into the pits. And most of the drivers that have been into the pits have just left the race completely, except for Steve Honan. He's been charging away even after his massive incident. As
Yeah, running.
Theodore Burns through 130R. It's, well, I think this is going to be a very low braking zone. Yes, it is. When you aren't around it, when you're around drivers, that braking zone is scary. We got a car stopped underneath the bridge. That's Knoll. Knoll stopped. Thomas Knoll is stopped, or he was stopped underneath the bridge. I think it's the exact same thing as we saw with Samborski.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough part of the track. When you hit that curb or hit that grass, you're going around. We'll see here in the replay.
Well, he avoided this last lap, and unfortunately, we got a Grim Reaper's just sitting underneath there, and he's gonna hit the wall as well. Now, 3.5s are a bit rugged, so a little tap of the wall is not going to affect the steering, but just depends on how hard you hit it, because no aero damage that I can see, so I believe he will be all good.
Yeah, back up with James Pinkster, the only B-class driver out of the field, but 5,300 iRacing, very talented driver. He's up 4 positions from that starting spot, trying to get up to Augusto in 7th.
I believe James was an A driver, but I think he participated in the 12 hours of Suzuka, and May had the first split last night for the European times and just for his comfortable time zone, and finished that this morning for him, and may have had something to do with it.
Yeah, he's clicking off some really. His last couple laps have been very quick considering the drivers ahead of him, Augusto. So if he keeps on pace, we're gonna have a battle for 7th very soon.
Now, battle for 7th is looking even more possible as we're just watching the sector relative between these two to start getting chopped down, but Augusto starting to pull away just a tad bit. As I said that, he's lost all the advantage that he's had.
Yeah, the commentator curse.
Well, he was closing in already. I was just trying to say some words.
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
And the battle up front started to tighten up as well, as Longa is starting to close up on Lisle, but Lisle to set a purple sector 2 and 3. But that gap's fallen down to 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, last lap for Lisle was 0.2 slower than a second, and that doesn't happen very often for him.
Yeah, Longa is just putting on a absolute show, as our graphics are showing. There we go. Lisle losing time to Jose Longa, who dared me to say his middle name last time, and I believe I said it completely wrong, and I'm not even going to attempt that. Avery, if you want to, go ahead.
I'll pass.
But Jose Longa on a charge with his teammates. 1.2 seconds. He is in the draft, and I think they're about to treat us to a amazing show with 3 laps to go here in the land of a rising sun at Suzuka. I think it's time for a battle box. There it is.
A great battle we have here for the lead. 1.2 seconds seems like a gap, but when these two drivers start racing each other, that gap's going to start shrinking. But Longa just really clicking those laps off. He's been quicker than Lisle the last 3 laps according to timing and scoring. And just be careful. He picks up just a little bit.
Pinkster was looking on the inside of Augusto. Sorry to cut you off there.
No problem.
But Pinkster had a good run. Thought he could hold it off on Augusto, but Augusto swung it around the outside, held to his own line, and making James just stay behind him for another lap.
Starting to get down to crunch time. When are they gonna make the move? 2 laps to go at the line. They really are running out of time. It's gonna get exciting.
Yeah, especially here in the midfield between Pinkster and Augusto. We also got Dominic and Ilbrink and Calvo in a 3-way fight for 5th place. Not for 4th place. As these guys are so close to each other. And also, do not count out the battle we have at front between Longa and Lisle. 3 battles on track. Action is rising with just a few laps to go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we love here in the iRacing Formula 3.5 Championship.
Yeah, that battle. We have so many great battles here. I tell you what, Austin, this don't happen very often. You usually get at least maybe 1 or 2. We got 3 battles on the track for position, and one of them has 3 drivers involved in it.
Yeah, I know I've heard of side by side, but can we get Bug's Eye Vision with just 3 battles on track? Honestly, that would be amazing here.
I don't think my glasses are that prescription, so maybe I'll have to check with my eye doctor and see if I can get that figured out.
Correction, we have 4 battles now. As I believe the battle that everyone wants to see, though, with 2 laps to go, is the battle for the lead between Lisle and Longa. As Tim is getting caught slowly by Jose, who is starting to reel him in.
Yeah, half a
Calvo's off. Calvo went off the track in Degna, and he's stuck under the bridge.
Yeah, Jose was a half a second quicker that last lap than Lisle, so he has really picked up the pace. The tire wear off has gone a little bit better for him.
Spoon worked well for Lisle, but Longa has the draft, and he's starting to close up. Look at this battle heading into Spoon, though. Pinkster and Augusto almost going side by side. Augusto going a little bit wide through Spoon, and they're going to have a draft battle down the last straight. As the leaders are coming across the line, we're going to bring the battle for the lead uninterrupted as it's white flag here at Suzuka. Lisle and Longa battle out for the lead. 7/10 separate them as they head into the first curve.
Last lap was pretty much neck and neck for both these drivers. It's got the last lap here. It's time to put the foot down and see how fast you can go.
It's time to take the gloves off the Aussie versus the Spaniard. Who is going to be on top? The 2 teammates battling with each other in the land of the rising sun as they fly through Dunlop Curve and heading into Degna 1 and 2. This corner's been tricky for most of these drivers, but these guys been mastering it all race. 6/10 between these two, and it is still falling. Longa, he's got that hairpin mastered as Lisle gets a little bit better exit on him. But how worn are Lisle's tires? Longa, purple sector 2, locked in as they fly through Spoon. It's going to be a draft battle As next is this long straight and 130R. Can Longa charge up on Lisle? DRS being used for both drivers.
Longa's in the tow.
Lisle through 130R, not the best exit. Just got one braking zone to go. Longa absolutely sends all he can, but it's not going to be enough as Tim Lisle takes the win here at Suzuka with Jose Longa right behind in second place. And we also got another battle on track. Augusto and Peacer. This one's been going all over. Peacer getting into the little gray stuff now. And Augusto, little bit too late. Augusto's holding up Peacer onto the exit. And Augusto wonderfully defended from Peacer. But Peacer's going to have a little bit of drag race as they make a little bit of contact after the race. And Augusto, P6, Peacer 7th. Crouch and Bill finished in 8th and 9th. Woo!
I mean, wow. Like, have neck and neck finish for first, a neck and neck finish for 6th. You can't ask for anything better. I mean, the only thing closer would be a 3-wide finish within a half a tenth of a second. But that was an amazing race, a great finish, real great effort by all these drivers.
Absolutely fantastic effort from most of these drivers. And I want to give a special shout out to Steve Hoden. Even after getting just body slammed into the wall, he still comes out and finishes the race. That'll make 14 finishers on track after 5 retirements, even after a very clean start. Unfortunately, some of them are out from personal issues, and then some of them are out from just contact issues with other drivers. But wow, what a race.
You get this high of an SOF, you're going to get a fantastic race, and that's what we got in the official Formula 3.5 series. I couldn't ask for anything better to watch, Austin.
Honestly, I can't ask for anything better to watch as well. And taking the win, here are your race results. Tim Lisle, Jose Longa, Greg Olson, Manuel Domingo, Paul Ilbrink, Renard Augusto, James J. Peter, Cedric Bill, Rob Crouch, Omar Baja, Iker Estefania, Thomas Null, Theodore Burns, Steve Honan, Danny R. Calvo, Rob Bohr, Evan Samborski, Erica Lindstrom, Phil Reed, and Rafael Mata. And that has been your race here at Suzuka. And wow, just waiting for our race winner and podium finishers to hop into the commentary booth right now. So a little bit of a cool down, a little bit of taking a breath, especially for me. Avery, how was that race?
Fantastic. It was probably one of my favorite races I've seen in the last, I'd probably say 6 to 8 months. It was neck and neck the whole time. We had about 2 laps where the drivers were within maybe like more than a second, and then the rest of it was neck and neck. You can't ask for anything better.
Honestly, I do not see anything better than this series on right now. So let's bring him in to the race winning booth. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tim Lisle.
Hey.
Just, hey, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'll take a while to recover from that one. That was very, very stressful. Yeah, Jose was just so quick at the end. I was just really glad that he made a couple of mistakes sort of in that middle portion of the race. And it was just a matter of hanging on.
Yeah, what we were questioning how he closed up so much. Was it just a little bit too aggressive on the tires at the start?
Yeah, I've got to figure out what I'm doing with the tires, because it feels like I can sort of be a bit quicker at the start of the race. But then I noticed, like, even on lap 6, the tires were starting to go off. And yeah, just sort of through the hairpin and the final chicane, it was just really, really sketchy. It's a few laps to go. I was sort of up on my fastest lap, and then into the hairpin, just had one of those moments where you really slowly lose the rear and you feel it getting away from you, and I managed to catch it. But that cost me half a second, and let Jose right back into it. So yeah, it was just a matter of nursing the tires and not dying from anxiety, which thankfully, I pulled off.
Yeah, it's another win for you. Next week we're going to Sebring, and this car is famous for not handling bumps that well. What's your strategy for that track?
My strategy is to skip it entirely.
All
I
right,
don't think
well,
it's a
enjoy the
track.
broadcast.
Yeah, I will. I don't think it's a track we should be racing at. I think it's designed for GT cars or something which with much softer suspension. So yeah, I'm just going to play it safe, skip it, and watch the carnage unfold.
All right, well, maybe we'll try to drag you into the commentary box at some point in the broadcast, see if you have any insight for us.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you, man. Before we let you go, anyone you wanted to thank?
Yeah, the team Positive Sim Racing. We had a 1-2-3 today, which I don't think we've ever done before, so that's amazing. Congrats to Jose and Greg, both very quick. So yeah, awesome result. I was expecting to see Paul sort of up there with us, but unfortunately for him, it looked like he had a weak qualifying, but he's still had a bit of a charge through the field. So congrats to him, and thanks to you guys for the coverage.
All right, thank you for providing us a show. And now let's get your teammate in here, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome Jose Plegazolis Longa in
Come on.
P2. Did I get it right?
Yeah,
No?
very good. Every race
Hey.
you improve. Like me in race.
Well, you charged up there and chased down your teammate, giving us a very fun battle at the end. How did that start forming? Did you just like turn on the jets halfway through the race?
I do too much mistakes in the start of a race. I think a team have more pace than me, and then I try to do as we see the pace. I try to do all or nothing, And I have a couple of mistakes. Then I think, okay, Jose, maybe you need to do your race, and then we will see. But okay, I have a very good pace then, and at the end of the race, I'm close to have a fight with team, but we don't have real fight in any moment, only in the start, I think.
Well, it was very exciting to watch you start close down on him. We were getting very excited up here in the booth. I believe Avery does have a question for you.
Oh, I do.
Hey.
You turned on the jets, and you just kept moving. And my question is there a point in the race that you felt like you needed to turn the jets on, or did the car just kind of come to you?
Sorry, can you repeat me the question?
My question is did you started to go fast at a certain moment, or did the car just get fast?
No. The car is perfect in every laps. The team have amazing work, and then it was me. It was I am very very excited in the start of the race because I feel very very good pace. I fail in the qualifying and I start 2, and I think it's very good. And it's only I'm start very exciting. I do a couple of mistakes, and then when I am calm, normally it's this do it when you are calm down, and then you do your pace. And I have a very good pace until the end. I'm very happy with my pace, and I have maybe 3 more laps to have a real fight.
Great race today. Is there anybody you'd like to thank?
Thank you, Avery.
Back to you, Austin.
All right, that has been Jose. I'm not going to attempt the middle name, Longa. And let's bring in the trifecta of positive sim racing drivers. Ladies and gentlemen, Greg Olson.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. It was a good race. Pretty boring. Not really much happened, but yeah, no real complaints, to be honest. I think the most important thing for my race was to get past Phil, and he was a bit out of control. Not out of control, but he was struggling with the cold tires at the start, and I got a gap, and from there it was just just keeping Danny behind. So pretty boring race, but it was pretty intense nonetheless. I didn't really have much time to rest.
You certainly were on top of things today. Not much, like you said, not much for you to worry about. So let's look on over to next week at Sebring. I know Tim said that he is avoiding that track. Are you going to hop in there, maybe pick up a surprise win?
I think I'll probably give it a miss. I'll still give the track a go in practice and see how we go. But I'm not sure. We'll see. But I think the most probable situation is that I'll probably avoid.
All right. Well, thank you for your insight. Before we let you go, anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Positive Sim Racing and congratulate them for the 1-2. We got the 1-2-3, so that's pretty cool. So thanks to them and the team and you guys for putting on the broadcast.
All right. Thank you very much, Greg. You have yourselves a good night, and we'll see you at Xandervort.
No worries. Thank you.
And let's bring in our 5th place driver, Paul Ilbrink. Howdy, Paul. How are you?
It's very slow, apparently.
That's one way to look at it. You had a good race. You jumped up 4 spots from where you started. Then you were just attacking and battling throughout the race and giving us a lot of stuff to look at.
Yeah, I don't know. I did a race earlier and I struggled in qualifying then as well. So I actually put some work in qualifying practice in between races, and somehow it's completely not got it together in the disqualifying. It was so slippery. So I had to come from far back again. But the race was entertaining, I guess.
Race was certainly entertaining. A few tricky moments throughout that race. I noticed you were getting caught by a few drivers as well as catching up. And then believe it was Calvo who spun off track. What happened to her there?
I think he just overdrove it into Degner 2, and he was quite a bit ahead of us at the time, so we could just drive around it, fortunately. So it was all fine for us.
All right. Well, before we let you go, anyone who want to thank?
Sure. My teammates at Radicals Online and our partners and sponsors, Cranfield Simulation, Euro Real Timing, Armored Center, SS Sim Race, Motive Podcast, Turn Racing, Sim Mortal, Six Sideways, Track Racer, and Pixel Dust, and you guys for doing nice podcasts every week.
All right. Thank you, man. You have yourselves a good day. And now let's bring in James J. Pinkster, who I need to stop calling him the Soviet Lowell bus, but today he was literally a bus as he was just driving through the field. Up 5 spots. James, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm not a bus. I mean, that's a bit of an unusual description.
Hey, that was your gamer tag for one day. I'm going to call you by it.
Yeah, I mean, if I guess I was a bit of a bus in qualifying. I was pretty struggling with the car. I didn't actually do that much practice this week, so yeah, I was very happy with how the pace actually turned up in the race. I did a few overtakes, got up the field. I'm not sure how much the stream saw, but me and Ronaldo in the last few laps had a really good battle. We were back and forth. So I'm a bit frustrated I didn't get his P6, but I guess I can be happy with P7.
Yeah, up 5 spots, plus 30 I rating, and a very clean race. I don't see anything wrong with that. Next track is Sebring, and that track's known to be a little bit tricky with these cars. You gonna hop in there and give it a go?
Okay, well, we'll see. I don't know. I might jump into a practice session and see how it is. I remember at least on the last tire model, Sebring was pretty much impossible to drive. I think with this one it'll be easier because the tires have more absorption to bumps. So, I don't know. I mean, Sebring is a very fun track. It's just about whether the car suits it or not. So, who knows? I might give it a go.
I'm noticing a trend here.
I think a lot of people are using their PTO for next week.
All right. Well, next week's going to be a very interesting race. But before we let you go, James, anyone you want to thank?
The Apex Racing TV for providing a fantastic stream, as always. All my competitors out there. Ronaldo I had a really good battle with Ronaldo, so thanks to the clean racing, mate. And yeah, that's about.
All right, awesome, and thank you, James. And I'm going to leave Avery with Cedric.
See if we can. There we go. Hey, Cedric Bill, this is Avery. Great race.
Hello.
Started off in 7th. My question for you is: you ran a great race. How were you able to maintain all that speed throughout the whole race?
Yes, I was happy about the qualification, and but for the race, I didn't have good rhythm. I think I had a little issue on my setup for the track conditions, and I was just struggling. Many battles with Ronaldo, who passed me very well, and I tried to stay in front of Rob Bauer, and he did a mistake, so I just had to maintain my advantage after that. So yeah, I tried what I could.
Yeah, you put on a great effort for having those struggles. Are we gonna see you next week at Sebring?
Yes, I think I will be there. It's one of my favorite track, and I just learned from this race about setup. But yes, I'm happy for the results.
All right, thanks for joining us in the up in the booth. Is there anybody you would like to thank?
Yes, I want to thank everybody, the broadcaster, the stream Apex Racing, and my teammates and my team MXS Racing for all the stuff they do.
All right, thanks, Cedric. That's a 8th place finish for him. And Austin, what a fantastic battle we had for the Formula 3.5 series. It was really impressive throughout the whole race.
Another great race here in the books on Apex Racing TV, especially for the Formula 3.5 broadcast, and a very special broadcast for the 3.5 series because of the announcement of our overlay being available to the public. You can get that if you're an SDK gaming customer over at www.sdk-gaming.co.uk/overlay-themes. And you can use the Formula 3.5 overlay theme on your.
Man, that overlay was a great idea. Who came up with that?
Everybody for watching. I've been joined by Frederick Nichtel in the booth, who's been giving us all these wonderful graphics and camera angles, and Avery McDonald. And I hope all of y'all have a good. I'm Austin Knight, and I hope all of y'all have a good night.